Broadcasting live from Youngville, North Carolina and Ontario, Canada, this is Got Mead Live, a weekly show where Vicky Rowe and AJ Aramutz bring you the Mead news, meadery info, and mead-making discussions from all over, talking with mead makers, mead owners, industry mavens, and influencers. This is Got Mead Live, a weekly podcast about mead and the people who love it and where the mead world is going. And now here are your hosts, Got Mead owner Vicky Rowe and mead and wine maker AJ Aramutz.
Live from the den of the Puppies of the Apocalypse, Ryan's Pad in Denver, Melbourne Down Under, and the Bunny Pen in Ottawa, Canada that has no power, so she might join us later. It's Got Mead Live. Welcome to the show. This is the next episode of Ryan's Making Modern Mead series, and tonight we are going to be joined by Tom Repas, and Tom and Ryan are going to talk about sulfiting and sorbating, so finishing off your meads, and that's a good thing. Before we get to all of the really good stuff, let's get the housekeeping out of the way. You can listen to us live on the Got Mead website, or if you're mobile and want to listen later, check us out on iTunes, SoundCloud, TuneIn, or Stitcher. Yes, I know it hasn't been updating lately. I'm working on it. Replays go back to the beginning of the show, and you can also, if you can't get them on those places until I pick it up, you can always get it on Spreaker.com. If you go to Spreaker.com, you can download the audio. So if you want to get these later, do that. We also have a show player on our Facebook page at facebook.com/gotmead. And you can find us on the web at, of course, gotmead.com, and on Facebook, in our Facebook page at facebook.com/gotmead, and our group at facebook.com/groups/gotmead. On Twitter, we are at gotmeadnow. And if you want to send us questions, just go to gotmead.com, put your mouse over the Got Mead Live radio show, and there'll be a drop-down where you can send us questions that we can then hand off to the guests on the show to be answered. If you want to call us, and if Skype lets us, because it's finicky that way, you can call us at 803-443-MEAD. That is 803-443-6323. We all do this on our own time and for free, and poor Ryan runs in from work and then gets right on the computer almost immediately. And we do this for free because we're that awesome and because we love mead. But the software, the hardware, the storage, it costs money. So we hope you'll consider becoming a supporting patron member. It's only $30 a year. That's just a little bit more than 50 cents a week. So chump change, guys. That gets you access to the patron boards on the Got Mead forum, our patron Facebook group, and all the award-winning recipes that are contained within the patron areas. So go to gotmead.com/forum. If you haven't already got an ID, get one. They're free. And then sign in and click Become a Patron, and it's just that easy. And you're good for a year. So I appreciate it, and thanks so much to all the people who signed up over the last week. We got several, and you guys totally rock. So without further ado, let's get to the good stuff. So what are we drinking? Hamish, you drinking today, this morning?
I'm actually in the process of making coffee, so I had my microphone muted.
Oh, okay. So, all right, well, I've got, excuse me, an Acoustic Mead Cherry Buzz, Acoustic Mead's in Traverse City, Michigan. And this is a session mead, so it is carbonated and comes in a 12-ounce bottle. And their meads are really good, and they make awesome mead cocktails as well. But this one's, it's tart and fizzy. It's got a nice cherry flavor, but it's not, it's not a bad cherry. It's a good cherry flavor and light honey notes. It's a real easy drinker. I could easily take a 6-pack of these things to the beach, no worries. So it's definitely a good mead. You should check it out. Go find some, especially if you're in Michigan. What about you, Ryan?
I haven't even had a chance to get anything to drink
yet. Because you run straight to the computer as soon as you get in the door. You need to have your mead sitting right there.
As soon as I can get away here from just a second, I'm going to go pour me a glass of what I call This Isn't Your Grandpa's prune juice. It's a prune mead that I make, and I make it in the... Well, so a lot of times I'll make a mead that tries to represent a particular style of other alcoholic beverages, and this does a pretty good job, I think, that might satisfy bourbon drinkers, the way that I make it and use. Well, I didn't actually age this in any of my bourbon barrels, but I took some oak and I put it in some bourbon, and then when after it was stabilized and clear, I put in some of the spirals and also poured in a little bit of bourbon that I had the spirals soaking in to kind of give it that piece. And so it's a meat style bourbon substitute, if you will.
Nice. I was messing about the other day, and I was thinking about, flavor. I'm getting the flavor Bible, and I'm a big flavor mixer when I cook. And so the other night I wanted something to drink, but I didn't really want a vodka tonic or something like that. I wanted something different. And I was looking, I've got the cabinet open, and I'm looking, going, not that, not that, not that, not that. And then I went and looked in the beer fridge, and there I've got a half a dozen cans of How About Them Apples, which is Moonlight Meadery's cider. And it's actually really good. It's a nice tart cider. And I thought, well, I don't want just a cider. I want something different. And then I remembered I have these distilled meads that they make at White Winter Winery up in Wisconsin. And I'd gotten a couple bottles when I was up there this summer. And so I took that, and it's like, this stuff's like ridiculously high proof. And he's got one that's oak aged. It's just to die for. And so I put some of that in there and then poured a can of cider on top of it. Dude, it tasted just like a fine whiskey. It went down so nice. So
nice.
Good. Oh, yeah, I'm going to do that again. So I probably ought to get Tom on here, and that'll give you a few minutes to go grab something to drink.
All right, I'm going to do that.
All right,
Thanks.
well, I'll bring Tom in then. All righty. There he is. And Hamish has got a house full today.
I wasn't muted well enough, huh?
You weren't, Tom? You with us?
While we're waiting... Oh.
I'm here. How
Hi,
y'all
Tom.
doing?
Pretty good, pretty good. We were just talking about what we're drinking. So what are you drinking, Tom?
Well, I fortunately remembered to bring something with me. I've got St. Ambrose. It looks like it's their XR Sizer.
Ooh, I love the
it's a honey
XR
apple.
Sizer. That's so good.
Yeah, it's really good. And it was spicy, and I'm like, how do they do that? And there's apparently some cinnamon in there along with maple syrup. But it's 6% ABV, and I've got to work early tomorrow, so if I'm going to drink a whole bottle, I need to not have something too strong.
Yeah, well, that's what's nice about that is you can do. I've got 2 bottles of acoustic mead, and it's a session, so I can get away with that. 2 12-ounce bottles, 2 beers, no worries.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. We got a bunch of people coming in on the chat.
I see that.
Excellent.
Yeah. So, yeah, tonight we're going to be digging into more of the finishing of the mead. So, sulfiting, sorbating, there's a lot of questions about that. And I saw so many questions going through the Got Mead groups this week about that. And they kept going, look, it's not just add this, and you're done. And they're going, but what is it? You need to come listen to our show, we'll tell you.
Yeah.
So what have you got going into the fermenter that you're willing to talk about, Tom?
Oh, well, since I'm still eligible for the home class next year, I don't want to give too much away.
Oh.
'Cause some of us who might be listening might be some judges.
Like me.
Yeah.
And
so
you, for that matter, Tom.
Yeah, exactly. I've got some really experimental stuff. I'm just trying, and they're not necessarily all experimental category, but they're just unusual ways of doing things that I've thought about. Flavor combinations. I don't have anything else to prove with winning medals, and I'm just curious to see what the feedback will be from the judges to see if it's something that's going to work out or maybe not.
Yeah. That's kind of why I entered. The few times I've entered, it's always been, I don't really care about the medals. I want somebody to tell me what worked and what didn't.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm out, driving around and checking bees, and your mind is wandering, and you're wondering, and you just think, I wonder what would be a good flavor combination. And then something pops in your mind, and I'm like, I gotta write that down. And so I have a really long list of ideas that I'll probably never get through in my entire lifetime.
You and AJ.
But and that flavor Bible is a wonderful book. I love it for cooking. I love it for getting ideas for combinations in mead, and also in food.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting my flavor Bible this weekend and seeing what it's come up with that I haven't already thought of. I'm a huge food experimenter. I make up about half the recipes in our house are stuff we've made up that, have no relation to any cookbook I've ever seen.
Yeah, cookbooks are more for just an idea, and then you look at like 3 different recipes and are like, okay, I can go with that, and then you don't actually follow any of the recipes.
Yeah, I don't know. If I'm following a recipe, I will follow the recipe once, and then I start messing with it because I want to see what the baseline looks like before I go screwing around, But yeah, I mean, half the recipes are stuff that I just created out of whole cloth because I looked in the refrigerator and said, well, we've got sausage and there's shredded cheese and look, I have extra curry left over, and so
exactly.
Yeah. Oh, Joe Abruzzo is asking, has anybody ever tried making a mead based on your favorite cocktail?
Oh, absolutely. The mead Hito is a classic that a lot of people have done, and I just love it as a summer drink.
Yeah, I had a cosmopolitan-based mead that, who was it?
Oh.
Yeah, who makes it? It's, crap. It's one of the Northeast meaderies, and I can see the label, and I'm drawing a complete blank, but I was fortunate enough to get a bottle of it when I went up to the meetup in the Northeast this week, and oh my God, it was to die for. And I'm not even a big fan of Cosmos, but oh my God, this was so good. But, so Ryan, you back from getting something to drink?
Yes, I am.
Cool. AJ, you here?
I'm here.
All right. AJ's power's back on.
Woohoo!
What you drinking, girl?
Water, because that's all I had time to get.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. we'll let Tom and Ryan get going, and then we won't be able to get a word in edgewise. So you can probably go get something to drink then.
Sounds fair.
Yeah. So, what'd you end up getting, Ryan? Was the not your dad's prune juice?
Not your grandpa's prune juice. Well,
that sounds fun.
Yeah. It's a wonderful mead.
Keep you regular, and also give you make you feel warm inside.
Yeah.
Yep.
So today's subject is we can go right into sulfites and sorbates, or we can deal. There was several questions that came up after the show was over last week, so we can grab those if you guys want to dig into those a little bit.
If I could, please, I'd like to maybe suggest let's pick up the questions first, just so we don't forget them, and maybe that'll clear people's plates so that they can, enjoy tonight's session even more.
Okay. All right. So the first one that we had relates to, and this is stuff that we could conceivably leave for a later show, but I hated to make them wait. This one relates to braggots. Josh Crow is asking, how do you extract the correct amount of sugar from grains and still have wiggle room to add honey as a fermentable?
Anybody?
I've never made a braggot, so I can't answer that one.
I've not made a lot of braggots. They're on my. I've done some. I do about one a year, but and I do all grain. But it's right. If you follow like a normal beer recipe, the ABV is going to be high, and then if you try to add enough honey to make it into a braggot, and not just a beer with honey added, it's going to be really sky high for alcohol. So I play around with the. I play around with the calculators. There's the one, Beersmith. I play around, when I'm trying to, because I actually just make my own recipes up when I'm making a brag, maybe aiming for, a certain style I'm trying to emulate, but also making sure I put enough honey in there. But the thing is, if you're adding a light honey like I have, like sweet clover, it's going to really lighten that style of beer more than that style of braggot that you're trying to emulate the certain beer more than you would expect. And I've gotten around that. I've caramelized honey, maybe not as dark as I would for a Bochet, but for some of the darker beers like a Bock or something that I was trying to make a Bock-style braggot. But that's what I do, is I play around entering numbers into those calculators to see roughly what I should expect to get from my my grain mash, and then when I add the honey,